We oftentimes get frustrated with insurance companies, right? They won't allow certain repairs. They won't allow certain parts. They won't allow scans. They're not paying for it, and it pisses us off. Well, on today's episode of Body Bangin', I have spoken with a few of my friends who are in insurance and asked them about some of these things and what they recommend shops do because we can't control insurance. We will never be able to control the insurance companies. But what can we be doing as writers, estimators, shop managers, and owners? What can we be doing on our side to make the best of this tough situation? Stay tuned for more on today's episode of Body Bangin'.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Micki Woods of Micki Woods Marketing. Micki is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Body Bangin' podcast. On today, your special guest is me. So today, we're not going to have a special guest on, and here's the reason. We're going to be talking about insurance. I know one of the issues that we have in the industry, one of the biggest issues we have in the industry is communicating with insurance companies and trying to get paid on the work that we're doing as body shops. So I hear it all the time. I dealt with it as a shop owner myself. I hear it from my managers and estimators I work with, and it's a huge frustration, and I totally get it. So I went and spoke with a few of my good friends who work for insurance companies and just really wanted to pick their brain and hear their perspective, their point of view on this topic. So I think one thing to note is they understand what's going on. The insurance company, at least guys with boots on the ground and gals, they understand that there's a disconnect. As most of you guys know, and sometimes we need to be reminded of, is that it's not the insurance company's job to fix the vehicle. The insurance company is in the business of making money. So it puts them at a very different place in the process than it puts you and I as the people that fix the vehicles and get them out safely and do the repair properly. Now, should they still be doing that? They should, you would wish. But ultimately, they have policies set up in place and they have parameters within those policies set in place so that they mitigate their loss as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, for them, it's all about that money. But the problem is, at the end of the day, the responsibility falls upon us as shops. And we've seen the court cases to prove it, that at the end of the day, ultimately, it's a shop's responsibility. So what do? Well, we have to fight to get what we think is fair and real so that we can still repair the vehicle properly and not lose our ass, right? So when I was talking with these guys, and they're aware of the struggle and it's difficult for them. And one gentleman in particular used to work for a body shop. So he totally got it. And we were kind of laughing about it. And he said, the shoe was on one foot, now it's on the other foot. And I used to be the person that was super defensive. I used to be the one that was angry. And now going and working for an insurance company has really opened my eyes to now this side of the coin. And one thing that was prevalent with each person that I spoke with from a few different insurance companies, and I won't name the names because I promise not to say names or use insurance company names for privacy purposes. But I think in general, these things will hold true. And we know that we're still going to get the a-hole that comes in, that no matter what we do, we can't appease them. They're not going to budge. They're just going to be jerk offs because that's who they are. And there's nothing we can do about that. But my whole look on life is really make the best of what you can control and leave the rest. And we fight, we do what we can, but we cannot change them, but we can do the best that we can. So in talking with them, their biggest thing was when we come to a shop, an insurance and a writer, an estimator, a manager gets defensive, it automatically puts us in a bad position. And I get that. I mean, even in real life, if we get into an argument with a friend or a family member or our spouse or partner, the second emotions get involved, Now, all of a sudden, the brain composition changes and we stop thinking with the rational brain and we start thinking with the emotional brain. The rational brain is going to be logical and the emotional brain is not going to be. But how can you help it sometimes? Because you get so pissed off because you feel like you're trying to get screwed. I get it. I know. I totally get it. So, first and foremost, if we as estimators, writers, whatever, whoever, whatever our role is in the shop, if we can attempt to take a deep breath and try not to get on the defensive, first and foremost, we're going to just do ourselves a favor. Let's try to get through this process with as much peace as we can because it's going to drive us nuts sometimes. So, first and foremost, it's if we go on the defensive, then now we're putting somebody else feeling like they have to be on the defensive. And then it's just this rotating circle of nightmareness because now this person's angry and then this person's angry and then it's really just a power struggle. So I think the important thing to think about is, for the most part, we're going to hope that the adjuster, whoever it is that's at your shop, is going to be willing to be rational. Now, if they're not going to be rational, now we've got to go to another step, right? So if they're willing to be rational, and even if they're not, we have to remember something very specific. They all kind of had something similar to say is, and I'm going to paraphrase it because they all said it in their own ways. Your opinion and your expert opinion, or what should be done to the vehicle, in the insurance world is still considered an opinion. So they're coming to the table with their opinion, and we get angry because oftentimes they are not experts. They do not repair the vehicle all the time. How do they know what it takes to repair the vehicle, right? You feel me? But we're frustrated. We're frustrated. The problem is, from their perspective, potentially, they're looking at the writer or whoever and saying, well, what you're submitting to me is